right, everyone. Welcome to our special presentation. This one's titled the All User Group Member Hot Stock Picking Challenge. Now it's time to gear up and get ready for an even better competition, I think, to come by way of this All User Group Member Challenge. It's going to be terrific. Everybody in a user group is going to be able to participate on their own. This, of course, includes the user group leaders themselves. And so we should have a pile of entries, hopefully in each and every database that we track across the globe, and should offer up some valuable insights into some great hot stock picks per database, and also, hopefully, the evolution of some new trading systems could come our way by way of this competition. And so, exciting times I know ahead, certainly for me, and I hope for each one of you. And if you don't find yourself in a user group, here's another reason to want to try to get involved. User groups offer up a tremendous amount of insight into the platform. You get a chance to see how other users, just like yourself, who have one common goal to make money with VectorVest, are already doing it, and so user groups in general are a great way to get involved with VectorVest more, learn more about it, and here is a nice little reward to all of our user group members as well, as we're going to have a very exciting competition and see who can win some prize money, right? All right, so in order to get registered, you're going to go to the following website, www.vectorvest.com/UGmember. When you do that, it's going to take you to this following web page. Also, on a quick note, the link to this website will also be found in the VectorVest views for each of your databases this evening as well. All right, now, once we get here, it's going to say, all right, let's get registered. Register for the VectorVest User Group Member Hot Stock Picking Competition. Here we can see at the top right now, we've got 6 days, 14 hours, 3 minutes, and, well, there was 0 seconds. So there's a limited time to get registered. Now, let's go through the rules, and that'll eventually lead us to the sign-up area over here on the right. Now, at the very top, with rule number 1, each VectorVest user group member is allowed one and only one entry. Rule number 2, entries may use their native database. In other words, if you live in the UK, feel free to use the UK database, as prize money is going to be apportioned out on a per database basis. And you'll see more about that here in a little bit. But you can compete if in the UK, and if you also have a US subscription as a secondary database, you could decide to participate in either or, not both, either or. So you'd pick one or the other. As a final example, if you have, say, the UK and Europe, you'd pick between one or the other of those two databases. All right, rule number 3. VectorVest will create and enter an empty competition portfolio into your login, into your account, for you to trade with. It's important that you watch the special presentation that you're already watching now, so that kudos to you, you're ahead of the game on tonight's presentation, right? Rule number 4, you may cherry pick to your heart's content or create any trading system you wish, including automated trading systems. So the moral of the story here is this competition is pretty wide open. You just get in there and make the trades as you see fit. And you can switch between systems, and we'll see more about that here in a bit. So very wide open competition, and I think that's going to make things truly exciting. Some people are going to be in there really placing tons of trades. Others may just go with, 5 or 10 stocks and see how they do, and everything in between. So again, I think that adds to the excitement. Number 5, every portfolio must seek to maintain at least 5 stocks, not more than 10. If the portfolio has less than 5 stocks for more than one trading day, 24 hours, the portfolio will be disqualified. So you have to seek to maintain a minimum of 5, no more than 10. All right, now let's go to the next rule. Here's where we need to pay attention, as this is going to best detail how trades are going to transpire throughout the competition. It says here, stocks will begin trading at the open of each appropriate stock exchange on Tuesday, October 1st. here's how it will be done. If you're end of day, if you only get the daily update each day after the market closes, trades either to open or close a position that you place in your portfolio before 8 a.m. will be filled at the open prices. Trades placed after 8 a.m. will be traded at the next day's open price and will appear in the portfolio at the end of that day. Okay, so you're only going to be seeing the updates in your portfolios after the trading day is concluded. If you get them in early, before the 8 a.m., they'll be filled that day. If you get them in after 8 a.m., they'll be filled the following day at the open. But again, all trades being filled at opening pricing for end of day. On intraday, it's going to follow the exact same rules as end of day for purposes of this competition. Exact same rules to the letter of the law. With real time, here's where you may have a little bit of a decided advantage, honestly, in some cases, in that trades either to open or close a position will be filled using existing bid-ask prices during market hours. So some occasions you may wish to wait a half hour or so on a trading day before committing to a particular trade, and could have some benefit, right, accordingly. But, it's going to be filled at the moment you place the trade using the existing bid-ask prices in a market order. Okay, no pre-market or after-market trading will be conducted. So you won't be able to take advantage of that extra pre-market and after-hour trading data that you have, which could give you a decided leg up in the competition from that perspective. But we try to keep the playing field as even as possible, realizing real time still does have some advantage in that you can follow the market before committing to a trade each and every single time you do it. All right, now with that, we'll go down here to number 7. Start with 50,000 monetary units defined as, if you're going to use the VectorVest 7 US database, one monetary unit is $1. Okay. For VectorVest 7 Canada, we'll use $1 Canadian. For VectorVest 7 Australia, $1 Australian dollar. For VectorVest 7 Hong Kong, $1 Hong Kong dollar. For VectorVest 7 Singapore, $1 Singaporean dollar. For VectorVest 7 Europe, €1. Okay. For VectorVest 7 UK, £1. In other words, 100 pence. So £1 sterling, in other words, 100 pence for the UK. Commissions are going to be set to $4.95 monetary units. So I shouldn't use the word dollars there. $4.95 monetary units. There's going to be no margin used for purposes of this competition. All stocks or ETF selections must be at least 1 monetary unit per share. 1 monetary unit per share minimum on your, at the time of purchase. Okay. Now, with trading systems, they can be changed at any time during the competition. Trading systems can be changed at any time. If you're VectorVest real time, they can even be changed throughout the middle of a day. If you find yourself in a trading system that's not working out very well for you and you want to switch gears, you're going to be free to do that. And same goes for our end of day and intraday. It'll just be done as of the next trading day. Derby subscribers may fill positions from the Derby or from a search. So don't forget, if you're a Derby subscriber, that you're going to have that Derby capability in the VectorVest Genius that will allow you to use the Derby to your advantage if you decide to do so. With 13, market timing. Any VectorVest system from none to Derby's DTI system, which is intraday if you're a Derby subscriber, can be used for purposes of this competition. Now you must register to enter the competition by Thursday, September 26, 2019, and all VectorVest decisions are going to be final. All submissions become property of VectorVest Inc. And here again, go to this particular website to make sure that you're registered. Of course, we're already here at this point, but this is going directly into the VectorVest views as well. and it'll provide a nice link, for you to get out and get to the competition and get registered. Okay. Now, let's go back and break a few things down now that we've cleanly gone through all the rules. First things first, on number 3, VectorVest will create and enter a competition portfolio into your account, an empty competition portfolio into your account for you to trade with. Okay, so let's take a peek at that. I'm going to go right into VectorVest here, okay? And what I'm going to do is go right up to the Portfolios tab. On the Portfolios tab, what you're going to want to look for, and it might help you in some cases to uncheck VV portfolios. It might help push this more towards the top of your list. You want to look for this naming convention here. It starts out with HSPC for Hot Stock Picking Competition. Okay, and then of course Cornelius being my user group location. So you'll want to look for that as well, and then you're going to be assigned a number for tracking purposes within the competition as well. So, that's going to be the naming convention to look for. First things first, just look for HSPC. When you find that, you should also then see the user group that you're assigned to, that you told us you're assigned to, and then also the 3-digit number as a unique identifier for you as an individual. Okay, and that could be something like 001, could be a 234, whatever the case may be, that's your unique number there as well. All right, now everything as far as the portfolio is going to be automatically set up. So notice the 50,000 monetary units, the 495 monetary unit commission, all of that has already been established. So there's nothing to worry about there. All you're going to need to do is find this portfolio and then commence trading once the competition begins, or just in advance of the competition, get your trading systems or your stocks that you want to start the competition off with already entered in prior to the competition, right? So one simple way, there's really going to be 3 ways, to go about doing this. One is going to be cherry picking your stocks that you're going to enter and exit. So you're going to put in singular orders to enter and exit every single position that you trade. It's going to require a little bit of additional work, to get all that done in comparison to some other options that you have, which will be to cherry pick the stocks, put the orders in, and then let the genius manage those positions. And then potentially for some, the ultimate situation where you can dictate an entire trading system. All right, so let's focus on first things first, how we can manually place orders to enter and exit positions. All right, so what we do, we've identified our portfolio. I've got it nicely selected here. Once you do that, you're simply going to click Add Trade. When we click Add Trade, this is going to be new for a lot of you. If you're a RoboTrader user at VectorVest, you've seen this screen a bunch, But if you're kind of new to order tickets that would mimic being sent to a brokerage, this is what it's going to look like, And so right at the top, it'll have your unique identifier there. You'll be able to see your account value, your cash balance, your available funds for trading, all of that nicely detailed in the top right corner. At any time, you'll be able to check out your orders, whether you have pending, canceled, or even rejected orders in some cases. That can occur, but you'll be able to keep tabs on anything that you've done by changing the status up here. All orders is a great place to start, and that's why it's kind of the default setting there. Now at the bottom is where you can create an order, and so we have the Add Order button down here in the bottom left. If I click Add Order, it then populates the start of a ticket. Now I can select an action. So if I want to buy, and let's say we want to buy Enphase. Well, I've already worked some math, and assuming I want to carry 10 positions, I want to evenly distribute my capital, among those 10 positions. That means I probably want to stay focused to only $5,000 purchases at the start here. What I can do is do some quick math and divide the stock price that I'm getting ready to trade into the 5,000. And with Enphase, that would lead me to around this number here. We'll see once I get it punched in. ENPH would be the symbol. Notice that as you type the symbol, you get that nice little directory of selections of stocks to choose from, depending on how many letters and so forth that you've typed in so far. So I'm going to click on ENPH. Here's the current share price. It has gone up a little bit, so I'm going to back this off one, see if we don't get lucky. All right, so I'm going to do 188 shares at the current market price. Now, market price is all that can be used. We're not going to be using stop limits or any of the more exotic order types that can be associated with the ticket through VectorVest and through your brokerage. Everything's going to go through at the market. Duration is going to be for the day only. And while there's an extended hours button here, we've already dictated extended hours are not available to trade. Okay, even though that box is there, you're not going to be able to use it. So with that, what I can do then is preview the order. And when I do, I'm spending a little bit over the 5,000, and if I want to stay as evenly distributed as possible here and not run into any issues as I continue to populate more and more orders, what I can do is exit out, go back, and let's drop it one more share. 187, preview orders. Now I'm fitting within the constraints of not spending more than 5,000 per position, if that's going to be a goal for you, and then place the order. All right, once I do that, now I've got VectorVest real time. So it populated, and you could see it sitting there for momentarily in that trading window. Now it's going out and placing the actual trade. Okay, so end phase has come through, in which case I could continue to buy more stock if I like. I could come up here, add trade, come to the bottom, add an order, come to my next action to buy. I could do any quantity to start. Let's just say around about that number. And let's do, it's probably going to spend too much here, right? Apple's 221. So one thing I can do quickly, in this order by order basis, can be a little bit trickier and more time consuming, but I can take the 5,000, divide it by, let's just call it 221, shall we? And that's going to say, all right, you need about 22 shares. Okay, 22 shares here. So let's do 22. And then, preview and place that order. I can also add another order here right away and do another one if I wish. Or if I make a mistake on one and maybe I find a better stock somehow and I want to get that one in instead, you can always click the X out here to the right to eliminate that particular order ticket. Now I'll go ahead and click Preview Orders. There we go. We stand nicely with a good number of shares. If I picked up that extra one, that'd put me over, and I'd run into a situation as I continue to fill out this basket. So here I go. I just place it. And now we've got 2 stocks, and you just continue to build up your list. So you can literally queue up all the orders you wish, and as long as you stay within 5 to 10 stocks, you're going to be in business. Remember, it's got to remain 5 to 10. No fewer than 5 ever is permitted for more than 24 hours. Now, in order to close a position, one of the things that we can do is just highlight the stock that we want to close. Let's say maybe Apple. Then I can click the Close Position button. It nicely queues up the 22 shares of Apple that we need to close out. Remember, everything's going to be done at the market. Okay, and then what I'll do is preview that order, send it across, click OK, and close, and that trade has been completed. We now have a round trip. So I'll be able to do things like come up to reports, and then I would be able to view something like trade history, because we've got at least one round trip in there, and I can see what the score was on anything that I've traded throughout the competition in this trade history window, which is fantastic. It'll kind of let you know how you're doing for sure, and that's a really good report to use. There's other reports up here that'll be, fun for you to kind of go through and monitor. And so the summary report is also quite nice. You'll have the ability to see, what your initial investment it was, what the buying power currently is, how much you have in cash position. All of that's very nicely detailed here. Potentially more important will be number of winners compared to losers. Those kinds of more advanced metrics can be observed here. How well you're doing on the long side, short side accordingly, and best and worst trades, is also a nice little feature in here. Also any fees that you've paid along the way and so forth. So nice little report there. And those are probably going to be two of the reports that you'll leverage a little bit more than the others, right? So transaction log, you're not going to be able to modify anything in here. So we'll just let that little cat out of the bag. You're not going to be able to go in here and say, no, I didn't really buy it at that time, and you won't be able to do that. Okay. That would be a little bit of cheating, I think, in most cases there. So we're not going to permit any of that type of shenanigans. Okay. So it's great. I mean, everything that you do in here is going to be like gospel. So you want to try to get everything right as best you can. All right. So that's how you do things kind of on a ticket by ticket basis, buying and selling. So with that, what I want to do then is show another great way. So let's say that we've filled out and got a complete basket of stocks here, and now we want VectorVest to manage the stocks for us in terms of letting us know when to sell them. So this is kind of situation 2, where you don't have to manually follow every stock that you own and track them individually and look at the charts and all of that if you don't want to. What we can do is we can come up here to the top right, we can click on Edit, and build a custom trading system. Now, a trading system can be just simply money management tactics. So what I can do is uncheck Use Market Timing. And if I just want to use some of the VectorVest stops, whichever stop loss that might be, all I need to do is go to this Automation Rules selection here, come out to the right and click None for the stock selection process. Instead of picking Derby, this is where in the rules we can find the Derby selections and so forth. Instead of that, what we can do is just go right to Stop Criteria and say Profit Locker. And we all know 50/15 is a great place to start. That's why we put it in there at launch of the Profit Locker product. So you could start with, say, a Profit Locker there. If you like, you can dial these numbers to your heart's content. If you're a bottom fisher and you want to elevate this target a bit because your stocks can well exceed 50% pretty quick sometimes, you can take that thing up to 100 if you want. You can move the numbers, push them around any way you'd like. Okay. There's also the whole host of other options in here. If you're a VectorVest Profit Locker Pro user, that requires an additional subscription. Well worth the cost. We've detailed that quite a bit. You're going to have all the ability to customize the curve of Profit Locker, and the greed tip can be a very effective way to do that, as we've shared with you. So all of this is possible for the purposes of this competition. And if you're somebody that just wants to go with I'll tell you, an oldie but goodie, if you're buying good stocks that are buy recommendations when you buy them, holding on until they become a sell is not such a bad idea. It's a great stop. And it's been around since VectorVest began, and it continues to work really well. So any stop loss you want to choose. And so let me just go back to Profit Locker here. Be careful now. If you're buying stocks for some reason that have sell recommendations, you don't want to, use some wisdom here. Okay. Now let me go to Profit Locker and let me just change it back to our default. And I'll just roll with 50/15 on all my trades. And now, when I click Finish and save it, if I have the Genius on, it will then ask me, do you want to apply that Profit Locker setting to the already existing positions in your portfolio? And I'm going to say I most certainly do. I'm going to apply to existing positions. Okay. This comes back to you can make changes throughout you know, these campaigns, and that's where something like apply to only the new positions would come into play. Okay, so I'm just going to do apply to existing positions and all future positions. That's what that means. Okay. And when I do that, it'll nicely attach that stop loss here in a second. You can see this this triangle here with the exclamation point was letting us know it's not quite done populating the stop loss yet. Now that it has, here's our target and our stop. We're using Profit Locker. Here's the stop price that Profit Locker is putting out there. Since I'm real time, it's as of this moment, and that's dynamic. It can change if it needs to throughout the day. Where again, if you're end of day or intraday, you know, you'll be able to see some differences there. End of day, of course, only after the day is over. You know, so there's some interesting things to consider here. Now, if I go back over to the left, you know, you're also going to get your typical quantity, purchase date, percent price change, dollar change, return on investment so far. So we're already up in this trade. That's good. It is a buy. You know, what the RT score is, your cost per share, your gain, and you'll be able to track all of these things on all your individual trades, know exactly where your stop is, you know, so on and so forth. So that's going to be terrific. Okay, it's going to be terrific. Going to be really, really good. All right, guys. So the final thing is you can just go completely automated, you know, and some of you may need to learn a little bit about that. So we're going to do another special presentation on this competition next week, and Todd Schaefer is going to take everybody by the hand and coach you up on the VectorVest Genius even more than I've done so far today. And so now I think the only thing left to cover, you know, maybe the most exciting part, the prize money. So let's go ahead and take a look. Prize money is going to be distributed as follows, and we'll take some time to kind of detail exactly what we mean here. But VectorVest is going to contribute $20 US for each challenge entry, for each competition entry to a single database pot. So what this means is if there are, let's say, 100 contestants that go to a particular database, $20 per entry goes to that particular pot. So let's say that's the Canadian database. And so, you know, you'll have $2,000 prize money there. That money would then be distributed to 3 winners at the end of the competition, October 31st. And that will be, first place is going to win 50% of that pot. So in the case of, again, the $2,000 pot, we're talking about $1,000 cash. And so just do the math. You know, if there's 200 entrants, $2,000 cash is 50% of the pot, right? Second place will get 30%, and third place will get 20%. And again, this is going to be awarded to the winners in each database in this fashion. So there are some decisions potentially to make here, right? There's going to be a lot more entries in certain databases than others, I think. And so, you know, your chances may go up in one side of the equation, but the prize money could be good on the other side of the equation, right? So, but just pick accordingly, you know. Wherever you think you're going to be best served to be in this competition, that's where you want to go. All right, guys, now let's talk about competition entry. One of the things we want to do here, obviously, is come in and fill it out. So let's put our name, first and last, our email address. Now this, you want to use the email address that you can be found in the system, you know, that you've put to us already. So I'll go ahead and put mine in here. I've actually got it nicely saved. And then once we do that, select the database that you want to participate in. And so that's going to be, for me, the United States. I will be locked into competing in the U.S. database competition when I do that. Then I'll put my VectorVest username, a phone number to be contacted at. You thought you were going to get it, did you? And then the user group city that I belong to. So I'll do Cornelius. All right. And then I could submit that. And it says, thank you for registering. We will add the competition portfolio to your VectorVest account by September 28th, 2019. Once the portfolio is in place, you will be able to set up the trading system you would like to use during the competition. Okay, so good luck to everyone. So thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week. It's been my privilege to present the competition rules, show you how you can do some trading during the competition, either by cherry picking in and out, your entry and your exit on stocks, also allowing the genius to manage your cherry picks. And we let you know Todd's going to come in next week and talk again about all-inclusive trading systems and a little bit about the design and some things to think about there. But boy, I tell you, this is going to be a bang-up competition, I have a feeling. I'm excited again. I hope you are too. And I think we'll be learning about some great stocks in all the different markets around the globe. We'll be learning, hopefully, some new trading systems may come, percolate to the top here and give us some things to think about there. So it's just going to be great. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I will. I'll see you later, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye now.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, if you're new to the software or would like refresher information about the software, click on this Getting Started video right here. Thanks to all of your input, here's a YouTube video that we think would be perfect for you. Click right here. If nothing else, folks, just hit the subscribe button right here.